Well, let's start in the Hill Country, where thousands of residents are heading into another tense night.
Governor Abbott has confirmed at least 2 people have died in the flooding, and first responders carried out well over 200 rescues.
You know, and this is happening in some of the same areas that were hit by catastrophic floods last year, only this time it's also stretching as far west as San Angelo. The Guadalupe River has been inundated with rain through Ingram, Comfort, and Kerrville, and further south in Bernie and Uvalde.
Jobin Paniker is in our newsroom to tell us about the safety improvements since last year and the response from North Texas. Jobin?
You know, we're hearing from multiple North Texas fire departments with swiftwater rescue teams. They've sent down boats and crew members over the last 2 days. It is an arrangement through the Texas Task Force, and it has proved vital for life-saving work.
These images have become all too familiar in the Hill Country. Fast-moving floodwaters have swallowed up nearby towns.
Life-threatening, catastrophic flooding remains our main risk.
Rescue efforts continue into day 2. Rescues by air, by first responders, some even by neighbors.
I'm coming towards you.
It was just a year ago. 139 people died in July 4th floods. Then more localized. This is more regional.
This time we may be a little bit more prepared, but the thing about it is you just never know when the water's going to come or where it's going to go.
Hard to believe the flooding this year is worse. The difference? This time, torrential rain and floodwaters came with newly installed flood sirens. Early indications are they worked.
I've lived here for almost 15 years, and it's never gotten this far up before.
Nearly every river in south central Texas has crested to historic levels.
Is 2 times the flow of Niagara Falls.
At least 2 people have died, trapped in their vehicles that were swept away.
I loaded up all my personal belongings, valuables, and I'm getting out of here.
Many are either staying or coming here to help.
There are 13 squads that have been sent out by the state.
Denton Fire sent 2 swiftwater boats, 6 crew members through Texas task forces. Dallas Fire Rescue sent 13 crew members, 1 for helicopter rescues.
Neighbors come together to help neighbors. They have been task saturated very, very quickly, and they need help.
Cities like Uvalde and Kerrville and Ingram are under flood watches through Friday. These are names of cities we've heard before. In North Texas, I'm Jobin Paniker.
If you'd like to help flood victims, Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country has started a donation fund. You can scan the QR code on your screen. They appreciate any amount you're able to give.
And the threat's not over. Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkus is here to show us the chances for more rain.
Yeah, there's rain that's falling there right now, and the rainfall numbers since Monday are mind-boggling. They really are. And I want to start with that tonight. I want you to take a look at these numbers down there. That's Uvalde County right there. Canepa, Uvalde itself. Look at Canepa. Almost over 26.5 inches of rain. Uvalde's almost 22. Concan, over 30 inches of rain. A friend of mine has a ranch just outside of Concan, and he said, we're fine here, but we can't leave the ranch because all of the roads are impassable. Up in Kerrville, just under 19.5 inches of rain. Leakey's over 13 inches of rain. Camp Wood, 16 plus. Brackettville off to the west of San Antonio, 16.5 inches of rain. Hondo's picked up 10.25. The rain continues to fall across Hill Country, anywhere from I-20 and location south down just to the west of San Antonio. Up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just a couple scattered showers here right now. A little bit of rain down around Coleman and Brownwood. No flooding threat with this rain. Watch the forecast. Now, that's what's happening right now. Here's the forecast at midnight. Most of us are dry as we head through the overnight. Look at that. I mean, there could be a shower at 3 in the morning. The rain coverage overnight is pretty limited. Overnight, about 10, maybe 20% of us see some rain. More likely out in West Texas, out in the big country, out around Abilene, some rain by early tomorrow morning. But I do keep a little bit of rain in my forecast as we head through the day tomorrow. 20% of us tomorrow. We hit 92. Look at that. A hot weekend. I'm not saying the gates of hell are opening this weekend, but I'll tell you what, they will be wide open as we head through next week. I'll have the 14-day forecast coming up, and I talked about that I have kind of reached a point where it's a fork in the road of my life. I've made a decision. I'm going to have that announcement when I come back.
Well, President Trump used tonight's primetime address to raise doubts about the results of past elections.
Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue.
The president presented allegations of interference and influence in ways that lack context. He accused China of stealing voter data from 220 million Americans, but he didn't produce evidence that votes had been manipulated or the outcome altered in any way. He's pointed to conspiracy theories alleging the 2020 election was rigged, but those have been debunked, and there's no hard evidence of widespread election fraud. President Trump lost more than 60 court cases challenging the election, including some in front of his own judicial appointees. The president won 312 electoral votes in 2024 and beat Kamala Harris by several million in the popular vote. But Democrats say he can't move on from his only defeat.
The world's most famous sore loser will deliver a primetime presidential sour grapes address while his war in the Middle East spirals out of control and the cost of living continues to rise for Americans across the country.
The president also pushed the Save America Act, which would require proof of citizenship to register to vote in federal elections and a photo ID to cast a ballot. The president also criticized ABC and NBC after both networks chose not to air his full speech. We did stream it all live on our app, WFAA+.
Tonight, a special court of review dismisses all sanctions against Dallas County's next district attorney, former Judge Amber Givens. The ruling says the State Commission on Judicial Conduct failed to meet its burden of proof after issuing a public reprimand against Givens. The case dates back to 2021 when the Dallas Criminal Defense Lawyers Association filed 2 misconduct complaints against her. It included allegations she allowed a court coordinator to preside over a bond hearing on Zoom. Givens resigned from her position as a judge to run for district attorney. She defeated incumbent John Creuzot in the Democratic primary and has no Republican challenger in November.
Now to a developing story in Parker County. Tonight, police are investigating a double homicide in Azle. Officers were called to a home on Stewart Bend Court and discovered 2 bodies when they went inside for a wellness check. Police say a woman and her mother died from gunshot wounds. Investigators tracked down a man from Fort Worth named Joseph Gordon, and he's being held on capital murder charges in the death of his wife and mother-in-law.
Tonight, attorneys for Tanner Horner have filed a motion requesting a new trial. In May, the former FedEx driver was sentenced to death for the murder of 7-year-old Athena Strand. It happened in the Wise County town of Paradise in 2022. Attorneys argue media coverage prevented Horner from receiving a fair trial. Horner pleaded guilty to 2 counts of capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. A jury sentenced him to death after a nearly month-long sentencing trial. An appeal is a standard procedure in any death penalty case.
Tonight, a judge is deciding if rap lyrics can help prove a murder case or unfairly prejudice a jury. It involves Yella Beezy's capital murder trial. The rapper's real name is Marquise Conway, and he's accused of hiring a hitman 6 years ago to kill fellow Dallas rapper Mo 3. Yella Beezy's lawyers are trying to stop prosecutors from using some of his music at trial because they don't want the lyrics mistaken for real-life confessions.
Dallas police are asking for help identifying 2 men seen in this surveillance video, one of them walking a dog. Investigators want to talk to them about a homicide in West Dallas in January. Police say 41-year-old Antonio Turner was attacked by a dog inside his home and died from his injuries. Anyone with information should contact Dallas police.
Well, tonight, firefighters are working to determine how a massive fire started. It destroyed a fiberglass warehouse in Fort Worth. And as Adriana D'Alba reports, crews faced some difficult conditions knocking down the flames.
As smoke filled the sky, cell phone video captured flames tearing through a massive fiberglass manufacturing warehouse in far north Fort Worth. By the time firefighters got there, it couldn't be saved.
What I heard is it started like in the ceiling.
Employee Vincent Reidenauer rushed toward the warehouse Thursday. The site, F&F Composite on Egg Farm Road in far north Fort Worth.
I could tell it was bad from like way over by where our office is, our building, as you could see the smoke and the flames.
Witnesses say employees in the building heard a pop, saw the fire, then ran out. Fort Worth fire crews rushed here thinking there were still people trapped inside, but we later learned that thankfully those working in there made it out safely.
It started to kind of collapse down in the center of the building,
We pulled everybody on our teams back out.
Fire officials say there were chemicals stored inside, and with the size of this building, crews called a 3-alarm fire. Fire trucks lining the street as crews rotated in and out, battling not just flames, but the Texas heat.
That's very taxing on the body. You know, it's something we train for, but this heat, Mother Nature's always going to win, is what I say, ultimately.
The fire destroyed the warehouse, but everyone is safe.
I'm glad everyone, was safe.
Crews battling hot spots late into this evening. The cause still unknown. In Fort Worth, I'm Adriana D'Alba.